because females are just what they present to be, and men are what we present to be. We are the ugly truth. That's why we don't mind going outside with a scruffy beard. And the women are a beautiful lie. That's why they all got different color makeup. That's why they all come outside with a mask and a wig. Real shit. And they never hold their counterparts or their friends accountable. Right. And case in point, right. A female paying everything in a household. When they break up, man, that shit burn your PlayStation, right? You better not take anything I bought, right? 100%. Am I lying?
Yeah, you right.
Reverse it. How many people we know from our perspective wouldn't give our grandmother's ring back?
Yeah.
How many we know from our perspective sitting there got half and half and half and blaming it on the betterment of the kids?
How long do you expect a man to deal with you before he actually makes it official?
I don't really care.
Like 5-6 months.
At least 4 months. I feel like 3 months is pretty reasonable.
3 months.
He don't have no months. He has 2 weeks to figure out what the fuck you want.
How long do you have to be dealing with a girl before you actually make her official?
Make her official? It take a little bit of time for me, bro.
A year. I can't put a time on it. I gotta put the vibe on it.
I usually give bitches 3 months, yo.
I'll say 3 months.
Maybe like 4 or 5 months.
At least a year.
4 years. I gotta get to know her.
Listen, I had Terrence Crawford. I had Shakur Stevenson on stream recently. They said they could beat you in a fight. Do you know who that is? Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson?
In a fight, they can beat me. I woke the floor with both of them. In a fight?
Well, yeah, they said they could beat you up.
And like in MMA.
Well, I think they said boxing, chat, right?
Listen, if we are sharing this room right now, and we are like me, Crawford, and Shakur, and someone has to make the bet, who do you think is going to do it?
Well,
both of them.
I think they said boxing.
Help each other. There's boxers, I swear to God, they are so fucking weird.
The boxers?
Yeah, bro. Generally, like, what the fuck are you talking about? You only know one part of the fighting game, which is like boxing, but you don't know everything about it. Wrestling, the ground game, like it's different. If I swear to God, if I have to go against both of them, I beat them ass.
I don't care. Tell him to come fight me.
Hold on a second. Aliens for you. So yeah, he wants to fight you.
Come fight me.
Yeah, tell him to come fight me.
Let's go, buddy. Whenever you want.
7, come on. 9. Double it. 1, 2. Hurt him. Hurt him. Hurt him. Hurt his body. 5 seconds. 5. 7. Nope. Nope. 4.
Sounded good. Like, he's not the one that's in the ring fighting, so he could say everything that he want to say on camera and make it look good to the fans. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about us fighting each other, it will be Devin getting in the ring. So you're going to walk me down. You're going to do all of these things. It sounds good, but once again, we in 8-ounce gloves and anybody can be hurt.
What do you take from the sparring session that Bill kept going back to? I never watched the whole thing. I seen clips. He said that Devin walked you down. I don't even know what year that was. Like, what do you take from that sparring session back then? I know it was a long time ago.
Man, it's weird because it's like I don't take nothing from it. What I take from it is like we sparred plenty of times. So like, which time are you talking about? We can't. It ain't like we didn't spar so many different times. Did you choose that sparring session specifically that you felt like you did good in, that made you get confidence or something? Like, I just don't understand it. So, honestly, from what I took with the sparring and every session that I had with him, I always felt like I was the better fighter. I never felt like he was a better fighter than me or did anything better than me. The only thing that he ever had over me when we sparred was size. But him being the younger fighter, I was always ahead. Like, I was always like the big brother that was ahead of him mentally.
What is the fight that you think in your gut, if you had to choose right now, is more realistic, or the fight you think may get done? A Ryan Garcia fight or a Devin Haney fight? Both of those fighters are heavier than you, so there's going to have to be some concessions with the weight.
Honestly, I don't see neither happening at 147 pounds unless it's under the rehydration rules that I said. So, if not, I don't see that happening right now. Now, in the future, as I grow more and get more settled, maybe so. But as of right now, I don't see it happening at that weight class. Now, Ryan Garcia, he said 144. If he's willing to do that, I'm willing to make the fight happen. But Ryan sounds more realistic, because he's being he's ready to move around.
That's crazy. I didn't realize that was Ryan's first world title. I'm looking how he's celebrating, and I'm thinking like, this look like this is his first world title. Now look, I was like, that is his first world title. He's been a professional for I think 10 years.
I mean,
great businessmen over there, but bro, they know exactly what they're doing. The reason why they try to go up and get another champion at 54, right? You better choose Xander. You better choose Xander. Like, they know how to pick him, gang. Think about me. Let's talk about my track history. I didn't have to fight Limos. Tyring had a whole nother opponent on the table. I fought Limos. I chose Limos. I didn't have to fight De Los Santos. I chose De Los Santos. These guys out here really choosing fighters that they really know they can beat. I can beat everybody, so I'm choosing anybody. That's the difference. Y'all need to wake up, bro. I'm really out here trying to fight any and everybody, bro. No cap. They can't. Nobody beat me. I'm the best in this sport, and I'm trying to show that. Let me show it, Devin. When I get myself in a real opportunity, I'm gunning for y'all. Super gunning for y'all. And when I see him at the weigh-ins, I seen him at the weigh-ins for MSG.
Right.
I seen Bill. I walked up to Bill. I said what I said, and he told me to stand on it. And I said, after I knock Jermaine out, we gonna fight, right? I said that purposely because I'm the same person that was telling Jay Prince, after I knock Jermaine out, they not gonna wanna fight me. They gonna be like, nah, why I ain't get no call out? Why I ain't get no, we ain't reaching out? And I know what's going on in real time too. They really don't wanna fight me, bro. Which I understand. If I was in another man position seeing me, I probably wouldn't fight me neither. Thank God I'm me, right? Thank God I'm me.
I'm the guy. Thank God I'm
like,
me.
Who called me out since I fought, honestly? Who was like, I wanna fight him? I understand what's going on out here. They woke now. They woke, but nah, Devin, don't go pick on Xander. I can go fight Xander. Don't go pick on Xander.
Hold up, and Devin
pick on me.
Hold up. We gotta give credit to Devin for fighting Loma. You know what I'm saying? He has been calling everybody out. He fought Ryan.
You talking about the guy that fought Loma, that fought Jermaine Ortiz, had a good fight with him? That's what you talking about?
No, I'm saying still Lomachenko.
We can't say Devin Duncan.
Okay, I can't say it.
because he's already has a track record of fighting those.
Oh man, we here, man. We ain't gonna waste no time. We gonna get in on the grind. I might talk about Tony Harrison and Charlotte at the end. It was kind of long-winded. I seen it on Instagram, but it was kind of long-winded to me while I was watching it on Fight Hype. I don't know. My interest wasn't there today, so we'll listen to it. I think he's trying to build the fight. He was just taking too long to get to the point of the title of the video. I seen it on Fight Hype, but so we see we got Romero forced to fight Devin Haney. Ennis, Ortiz, and Haney versus Rolly could be both on May 30th. And y'all think this is a coincidence? This shit ain't no coincidence, bro. Respectfully, it's not. This is what I kind of trying to be saying, that it's not a coincidence when kind of Crawford exposed boxing more than y'all know. When Terrence Crawford came out and said that they all talk to each other, they all cool with each other, they all talk together. That was funny to me. That was very funny to me when he said that. Because that just was funny to me when he said that, because when they be putting on all these cards on the same day and making you pick and choose, that I think that's by design. I'm starting to believe that they're really just trying to destroy boxing. I'm really starting to believe that it's intentional, it's intent to destroy boxing, right? It's a pissing contest. It's, what is it? How many weeks in a year? 50 something weeks in a year, 52 weeks in a year, something like that. And for them to be putting like 2-3 cards, you know, on the same night when, you know, you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Monday, you got the week before that, the week after that. You got all these different weeks where they can be producing fights. And it's weekends where we don't have no fights and they all do it on the same day. And it's not like, you know, and I get it. A lot of the venues that they book tend to be the same venues or the same area, whether it's New York, the Madison Square Garden, Barclays. They don't go near downtown Vegas. I mean, whether it's the MGM family of networks, MGM Grand, Madeline Bay, T-Mobile. But at some point, you got to ask yourself to keep it a bean. At some point, where you know, where do we just say, you know what, let's split this shit up. Let's work together. All right, y'all want that day? They doing this shit on purpose. I'm just gonna keep it a bean. They're trying to destroy on purpose, bro. And now it gives you the capabilities, streaming platforms give you the capabilities of putting fight cards, you know, putting multiple pay-per-views on it the same day. It is no other way to explain this. This is destruction. This is destruction by design. You know, this boxing shit is destructive by design. They doing it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it on purpose. This has to be a social experiment for what we going through in society. What we going through, you know, even in sports, it has to be a social experiment. It has to be. It has to be somebody experimenting on society to see how much they can get away with until people start turning. It is, you know, some of these things are wild to me, man. But ain't no way that you're trying to put both these fight cards on at the same time. And but let's just talk about Rolly first. So apparently Devin Haney is going around saying Rolly is desperate. He's saying Rolly is desperate, that he wants to fight him. Now they're saying they're gonna order this WBA mandatory. You know, there's gonna be a WBA mandatory that he got to fight him. Y'all ever notice that the mandatories ain't never worth shit? The sanction belt bodies don't never do anything that's worth a damn. Let me say that again. The sanction belt bodies never serve the purpose of the people. To be honest, a lot of times you see these guys, they order these fights. We never heard of them. This is why I prefer a league, a dictatorship, or leagues that have a dictator. This is why I'm pro that, because we have these people in boxing, right, who order these fights we never seen fight before. We never heard before. We've never heard of it. We've never heard of these guys. But it's never a fucking fight that they never order a fight that we want to see and it goes through. It's never a fight that we want to see and it goes through like a hula hoop. It's just never. The sanction belt body serve no purpose. And I'm gonna spit on something else about them. I talked about it the other day. I'm gonna spit on something else real quick about the sanction belt bodies. Like, do anybody care about this particular fight? What's the point of ordering fights that we don't care about? Seriously, what's the point of ordering fights that we don't care about? Anybody want something from the store? They don't care nothing about him fighting this Gavasa. Who cares? Who cares? This guy was on the same promotional company as Jerron Booth in his Matchroom while he had the belt. Why did Eddie make the fight? What was the point of doing Karen Turkachan 2 and all? Why did I just fight this kid? That's the $1 million question. So sanction belt bodies serve no purpose. They don't give the fans what they want. All they give is inconveniences. Tell me I'm wrong. All they give is inconveniences. Nobody wants to see this fight. And now, apparently, according to Devin Haney, Rolly ran out of options. Whatever happened with Pacquiao, it didn't go. Whatever happened with Ryan don't want to fight him. Guess he can't get Shakur to come up and fight him. There's no other fights where he can make money at. Now he wants to fight Devin Haney because his back against the wall. And cool. You know, he not fighting Devin Haney. He wasn't just saying, well, you know, Devin is born and all. Now he need Devin Haney. It was Devin is born and Devin is this and Devin, and now you need it. Now you need him. Well, let's fight. Now you get some courage. And this is what we need in boxing, bro. This is what we need in boxing. We need dudes to be forced to fight. And if you got a guy like Dana White, or you got somebody that's going to dictate everything, like Turkey Al-Sheikh, these dudes are going to be forced to fight. And I still feel like Turkey Al-Sheikh is giving these dudes too much wiggle room. Fighting, ain't no, introduction to death row. You didn't want to give Jerron Ennis a tune-up. These dudes should be able to squabble. Rolly don't want to fight. Devin Haney, that mentor, he gonna get paid pennies and probably lose. And that's a fact. And this is what happened when you force guys to walk the plank. This is what happened. They don't have no choice. When you give them the IBF, the WBA, when you look through these sanctioned belt bodies, there's 15 people in each sanctioned belt body, giving you a total of 60 people. And some of these could be, run concurrent or be the same guy. Let's just say on a nice day, it's 45 different people. It's too many people. There's 45 different people in the vacant number 4 spot in the WBC. It's too many people, bro. If anything, you need a strong 15 or 20 people, and that's it under one title. We don't need all these Cohen, Walker, Raul Correa. We don't need all that. Patty Donovan, vacant guy. We don't need all that. We need 10 to 20 solid guys. And he's sanctioned the belt body. That's all we need. But when they forced to have to do something, they change their tune. They get brave. They find courage juice. They find the bottle of Irk and Jerk. You don't know what that is? I pray for you. That's my thing. They find courage. Now all of a sudden, Rolly talking tough because he don't have there should be no left, no right, no up, no down. There should be straightforward. There should be straightforward. It shouldn't be no side to side, front to back, back to nah. It should be straightforward. Let's get it. None of these guys earn the right. Respectfully, none of these guys earn the right yet to call their shots. Shakur was just on a nigga undercard on Egner Berlanga undercard, and you think he deserved to call the shots? Real talk, you think he deserved to call the shots? Should nobody control their own destiny in this sport of boxing until they earn it? And ain't none of them earned it. If Floyd did all this and still broke, do you think these niggas earned this the money that they getting, bro? Logan Paul came out and exposed him some more, but I say that video for tomorrow. This is what happened when you give them no way out. You get the best version of these fighters. Now, can Rolly win this fight? It's a possibility. We've seen funnier things happen. Rolly still looking good shape. Ismail Salas is one of the better coaches. I've seen people talking shit. Well, he hasn't built the fighter from the ground up. Or Freddie Roach did. Hey, look, if they went on a professional level, right? If these dudes are doing well on a professional level, you don't have to they always want to change the definition. Some of these dudes built guys from the ground up and they suck. Didn't do shit in the pros. You know what I'm saying? So, in my humble opinion, bro, Ismail Salas is a hell of a coach. He got a chance. Rolly is more patient now. Patience to help you versus Ryan. Patience to help you versus Tank. If he was a little bit more patient in the Tank fight, who knows what would have happened. But in this particular fight, patience might not be a virtue, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, using that jab and having a plan, working up and down, using the jab, setting traps for Devin Haney, and you can catch Devin Haney coming or going. My thing would be I would be aiming for his chest. My counters would be going to the chest, going to Devin body. I would attack Devin body, punch him in the chest. That would be my thing. You're going to throw 1 or 2, 3 shots. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be more than 3 shots at a time. He's going to be trying to load up on his shots. I think if Rolly just focus on just throwing his shots and don't think about it, let it flow, touch the chest, punch to the solar plex, touch the body, keep his hands home. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, them hands come back home from Devin, come back home. I think Rolly got a chance if he focus on the chest, focus on his jab, focus on the body work. Devin ain't creative, bro. Devin throw the same punches. It's very redundant in his attack. Very redundant. You know? But Rolly can't just be fishing for a hook. Rolly just can't be, in there without a plan. Rolly can't be all patient. Rolly got to attack the chest, attack the body, attack the arms, and try to catch Devin Haney coming. Devin load up with a lot of shots. Devin don't let his punches flow like he should. He trying to prove that he'll punch. I think Rolly got a chance because he can punch. And I think not only is he got more than a punch, I give him more than a puncher's chance because I like Ishmael Salas, how patient he look on that back foot, but he gonna get killed. He gonna get beat up all night. Probably gonna get stopped, respectfully. He probably gonna get stopped. But if Rolly really focus on the body, focus on punching him to the chest, I like Ishmael Salas. They have a good game plan, but he gonna get punished. Devin got. It is what it is, but I don't know. Rolly looked good versus Ryan. I know that was versus Ryan, but he looked a lot more patient. He looked like a lot more less jittery. He looked a lot more loose, a lot more fluid. But if they're gonna do it May 30th, so be it. That's a good fight in the Barclays Center. I seen Devin sitting with Eddie Hearn, and I seen that. At the end of the day, dog, all these dudes gonna do business with each other. It don't matter. Eddie Hearn, they need Eddie Hearn to put the fights on or whatever. I don't understand why niggas was at that Mexican card anyway. What was y'all niggas doing there? You know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck was y'all in Arizona? What was y'all doing there? That's my thing. What's wrong with you niggas? What's wrong with you niggas? Like, what was y'all doing there? Like, I get why Shock was there, and I guess Ford was there, but I ain't really get it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even watch that shit. I don't be watching that shit no more, dog. Yeah, I ain't even watch that shit. Like, what's the point? I like Navarrete, but I ain't really get. I ain't care. like this boxing shit, dog. They gotta be a good fight for me to care. I ain't care, but I heard they was going down though. But shit, I had other shit I had to do. Like if it's worth it, I'll clear out the weekend or clear out the time spot to watch it. But at this point, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Should be coming on at 1 a.m, 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, them niggas was there. I don't be knowing who be going to these little small Mexican cars they be having. Maybe it be some Mexican celebrities that be in that joint, but hey, shout out to them. But me personally, I ain't watching that shit. But yeah, let me get to this other part real quick. So, at the end, I'll talk about the sanctionable bodies and Tony and them. So we got something bigger planned for this day. Trust me. So Rolly said, y'all, I just got the call May 30th, New York City at the Barclays Center on Amazon Prime. Boss, your court, Ducky. He said, yeah, when a real contract is actually sent, dumbass, fuck you and your manager. You made all these reasons not to fight me. Now stand on it. So I don't know what happened with him and Ryan. Yeah, I don't know what happened with him and Ryan, to be real. So I don't know what this. He ended up fighting all those guys. So at the end of the day, Rolly must really didn't have an option. But back to Rick Mirrigate, this is Virgil's manager. We got something big planned for this day. Trust me. So he's alluding to the fact that it could be Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Boots Ennis fighting May 30th. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. The better fight is Jerron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, but the more lucrative fight, everybody gonna be watching Rolly and Devin, partially because of Tank. partially because of Tank. So to be honest, when we look at these things and look at this right here, it's just the boxing always want to step on each other's toes. You know, we got one big fight May 30th. I'm pretty sure there's other dates. You know, I'm pretty sure they heard it too. They heard this before this came out. So y'all want to be May 30th in Vegas. This gonna be May 30th. They're gonna make y'all pick between paying $80 or streaming between both. We both know both cards like to, regardless if it's East Coast or West Coast, they both like to walk to the ring after midnight Eastern Standard Time. So ain't nobody going, you know, offset they shit and be like, we gonna be early. Nah, like it's so many different weekends they can do this on. You know, Boots and Virgil went from March to April to May, but then again, it may not be a bad idea for both of these cards to be on the same day because somebody probably gonna pull out. So I don't really even understand, like, you know, why, you know, who somebody should step down or get the weekend before the weekend. I don't understand this whole thing. Let's put on cards on the same day. And we have weekends like this past weekend, like, you know, they could have put on a major card. Whenever, you know, they like that not raw they shit. Like, you that thirsty to watch a boxing card? Like, nah. The fuck would I be that thirsty to watch that shit for? Out of all these fighters they got, they could be putting on major cards every weekend, especially throughout the summer. Why are we just sitting here on, you know, we sit weekends, we sitting there with nothing to watch? Foosball going off, nothing to watch. You know, you got some NASCAR, Michael Jordan making some noise if you into that, some basketball here and there. Why are they not going crazy? Why are they not going crazy with the cards? You got all this talent throughout boxing. All this talent. Jail Tapa, the heavyweights. And just think about the schedule coming up, right? Think about the schedule. Jail Tapa fighting Brandon Gann. I've seen him fight before. I mean, you got Barboza and Kenneth Sims. I mean, all the names in boxing, just look throughout March what's on tap. It's nothing that's going to get your dick hard. No Diddy. Nothing that, like, out of all the stars you got in boxing. Look at all the stars you got, man. Fondor and Keith Thurman. Why? Then you had Elijah Garcia and Terrell Goucher. He robbed Terrell Goucher and they fighting on the same car. Like, who cares? Come on. There's nothing that gets you interested, bro. There's nothing out of all the great fighters there's no card that make you say, let me stop my day and watch this shit. Like, none of this shit makes you, and I don't even think Floyd is fighting Mike Tyson, bro. I heard he ain't even fighting Mike Tyson. I've been heard that. I don't care about Ramirez Benavidez. I knew you on Nakatani. That had steam until Nakatani last fight. Fabio Wardley and Du Bois, that's cool. Usyk getting a little pass in Egypt, that's cool. It's out of all the guys you got in boxing. When you start talking about the top fights that you want to see, it's nothing, bro. None of your stars is on tap to fight. No Errol, no Charlo, no Usyk. You know what I'm saying? And not Usyk, but no Charlo, no Usyk. None of them in meaningful fights. None of these guys, everybody is just tune up, bullshit ass fights. It's just nothing that you just getting interested in. And it's good that Ennis and Virgil Ortiz could be closer to fighting. I definitely agree with that. That is fantastic. But to have two marquee fights in Virgil and Ennis and Haney and Rowley on the same day, and you got this shitty ass boxing schedule, it's absurd. It's absurd. We should have more fights like this. Every weekend we should have a fight like this with Shakur, with Keyshawn, with Earl coming back, with Tim coming back into the ring. I mean, you got a 68-pound division with Canelo trying to get a title, Mbili, Lester, Iglesias, the IBF guy who can get the title, who's really, really good fighter. You got Bivol, Better Biev, Benavidez supposed to be in the same division. Like, damn, we should have marquee matchups every night. This should be something on deck every night or every weekend. So I mean, obviously the better fight is Virgil and Jerron Ennis because there's so many questions to be asked in that fight about both fighters. It's more questions on Boots' side. People believe it's a foregone conclusion that Boots is going to win that fight. I don't think it's as far gone conclusion as people make it seem. Oh, you just know Boots gonna beat his ass. I don't know shit. I don't know. I know more. The one thing that's safe about Virgil Ortiz, I know more about Virgil Ortiz. We know some of his vulnerabilities. We know some of his strengths. We know that. We know some of his vulnerabilities. We know some of his strengths. That's a fact. But Boots, you don't know. You don't know if he can take a punch. You just going off what you're projecting him to do, what you believe he would do. You don't know much about Boots. Respectfully, like, you know if he can take a punch. You know if the going get hard. We know what he can do with headgear on. You know the defense is a little shaky. There's a lot of questions. That's what make that fight so good. It's a lot of questions to be asked between Boots and Virgil Ortiz. That's why the fight is so good. For Haney and Rolly, you know what it is. You know Rolly is going to try to catch Devin. Can he catch Devin? If he catch Devin, can Devin take the punch? It's really going to be Devin. Can Rolly knock out Devin? And can Devin stay away from Rolly? And can Devin close the show and be exciting and knock him out? And people wonder, like, why is Tank so popular? More popular than Devin or more popular than Shakur Stevenson? He get people out of there. They don't even, like, in my opinion, bro, there be opportunities to get people out of there. People want to see the kill. People want to see the kill. And when you got guys in there that play with their food like Shakur and Devin and play it safe. Nobody watched the gladiator sport to watch somebody play it safe. They don't even take the chances to get the guy out of there. Get you out of there. That will always reign supreme. Master boxers get their credit. They get their credit down the line. Punchers get their credit on the spot. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was nothing exciting about Shakur Stevenson beating up Teofimo. Let's keep it real. There was nothing exciting about it. He had a dead man in front of him and couldn't pack him up. And he wanted to know why people fuck with Tank. People don't really, like, casual fans don't look at the resume. They just look at the results. We said it again. Casual fans don't look at the resume. They just look at the results. They don't care who you packing up. You know? And neither one of these dudes go for the kill. And even when Devin be trying to punch, Devin is a better puncher when he's a better puncher when he allows his punches to flow. Devin's a better puncher when he allows his punches to flow. When he just punching and he ain't pushing them or he ain't trying to load up on them, he's a better puncher he's a better puncher when he punching naturally. When he dropped Brian Norman or when he dropped Regis Prograis, those were natural rhythm shots. Those are natural rhythm shots. He didn't try to load that shot. He just threw it. There was a piercing, the speed, the how straight the punches were, how crisp he turned them over. That's what it was. But when he go out there fishing for a shot, trying to, punt, even when you see him hit the back, he's fishing for power. His power comes from the ability to hide the punch, not telegraph the punch, the accuracy of the punch, and the velocity of the punch. It's high. It's same thing with Bernard. Bernard was a good puncher when he just let his shots flow. When Devin pushing his shots or loading up on the shots, he's just not a good puncher. But when he in the natural rhythm of things, he can set them up. It's nice. Devin is one of those dudes that him and Shakur is one of them dudes that should really make up double and tripling up shots. That's how you make up for you double, triple shots up. You throw combinations. But then again, they want to be in position to defend. And like I said, sometimes when you throw shots at fighters, You throw, you throw 3, 4, 5 shots and you able to step over and use angles, they can't take it. Pacquiao showed that. 90% of Pacquiao opponents couldn't do shit with him when he threw 3, 4 punches at him. And then he stepped over, he swammed over, and he reset. He feigned him again, by a break. They flinch. He feigned him again, flinch. He turned him again, then boom, 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 and get out of there. A lot of your opponents, you just gonna overwhelm with footwork, feints, and just shoe shining. You know what I'm saying? Especially Pacquiao work up and down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They get flustered when you throw punches. Them hagglers the same way. Julio Cesar Chavez, Duran, get that jab working, boom, boom, that body swim over. Sometimes it took them a little bit to get in the rhythm. They get into a rhythm. They whoop, whoop, boop, boop, boop. You know what I'm saying? And then slide over, then touch. Most guys, when you start really throwing punches, the best offense, I hate to say it, the best defense is sometimes the best offense, especially in a generation where guys don't really know how to counterpunch. I would watch some of Earl tape, leading up to the Bud fight, or even before that. And when you throw punches at Earl, he liked to throw a get off me punch. Just a punch, just a Hail Mary punch to get you off of him. It wasn't a sweet science to it. It was just like get off me punch. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these fighters, when you throwing punches at them no more, they don't know how to punch with you. They don't know how to counter you. They don't understand how to time you with a jab. When you throwing punches, most of them motherfuckers balling up. And they wait for you to stop punching to get a reset. Pacquiao was famous for his opponents doing that. People ain't think about step out of range, control him with the jab, use the jab to control him. Most of Pacquiao opponents, once they threw a jab and he was able to cut the distance, he was able to counter that jab or punch you while you did that jab or get inside that jab. Most of them stopped throwing a jab. Mayweather understood the angle. He understood when Pacquiao set his feet, he about to throw. He understood Pacquiao didn't punch on the move. When Pacquiao set his feet, he about to throw. He about to throw. He about to feint. That's what he understood. Controlling with the left jab. When he set his feet, you got to be out of range. You got to be punching, or you got to be getting out of range. That's it. Punch or get out of range, or make him reset. And Mayweather understood that. Pacquiao fooled him a couple of times, but once he understood, he controlled the distance with Pacquiao. And then Pacquiao will try to get in range of that jab. Mayweather will hold him. He'll act like he's going to shoot that jab. Mayweather hit with a right hand, hold him. You know what I'm saying? Now, I feel like, another fighter like Thomas Hearns would have probably just hit him with a right hand, left hook, would have just start, stacking punches on top of that. Mayweather played it safe, and that's what kind of made Mayweather and Pacquiao kind of trash. And you see that within Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. You see that within the new generation where they play it safe. You don't have a bunch of guys who use offense, kind of like Cobra Kai. Offense is the best defense. To a certain extent, that's very true, especially in the generation where they don't use the jab, especially in the generation where they ball up and they don't know how to stop an onslaught because it's all angles, especially in the generation that stopped using their jab first. One counter shot, they stop using their jab. Throw the same jab. You know what I'm saying? That's how you beat Pacquiao. That's why Pacquiao didn't want to fight Terrence Crawford, because Crawford, his long arms will control Manny Pacquiao. He would control Pacquiao with the arms and the footwork. That's what Mayweather was so successful. He understood Pacquiao footwork and keeping him at arm's length. That's why he kind of like, it was a prequel to, it was like a prequel or preview to a fight that never happened. Pacquiao Crawford was a kind of like, what you seen with Gamboa was going to be similar. Gamboa was hard to control, to keep at the end of your punches, but Crawford's long arms and Crawford's ability to have control distance and understand footwork and understand boxing, Crawford's a very, very skillful, talented fighter. That ability to control range, people don't talk about that. That's what the jab do. The jab control the range. Even they just let Vitaly just measure a motherfucker with a jab and put his hand. They stopped him because that controls range. And the dangerous thing about Crawford is Crawford would have built on top of what Mayweather did. Mayweather played it very safe. Crawford would have took chances. Crawford took chances. You know what I'm saying? He would have built on it. Thomas Hearns would have took chances. You don't have fighters like that no more. You know what I'm saying? You don't have even like Jermell, aggressive fighter with Derrick James, very bland in his attack. very bland. There's no creativity like you would see with Chavez or or even Pernell Whitaker. He wasn't a bigger, but he would walk motherfuckers down. Pernell would get dropped and get up and wake up. It's just that they're not as creative anymore. I say that all the time. Even you look at Usyk. I would love to see if Fury had a left hook, how much more creative Usyk could have been. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm pretty much saying is we don't have enough offensive-minded fighters anymore. That's what I'm pretty much hitting at. And, most of these motherfuckers is defensive fighters. It ain't enough offensive-minded. There's so many times you watch a fight where a motherfucker should have got another motherfucker out of there and he didn't get him out of there, bro. He didn't get him. And you just like, bro, we sat here for 12 rounds and you could have packed this nigga. Is it that they don't know how to? Is it lack of creativity, lack of killer instinct? I mean, I'll let you figure that out. I'll let you figure it out because it's an art to finishing somebody. It's an art to it. Crawford is great, one of the better finishers we've seen. I think Deontay was one of the more climatic or exciting or finishers we've seen, like out of nowhere. But when you start this thinking about, and then you got a guy, and I said this in one of my other videos or live streams, I talked about a new way. You got a guy that put his balls on the line the way he doing. He throw punches, then he don't have no defense. And I mean, we've seen fighters like that before too. Pacquiao was the same way. You know what I'm saying? You throw punches in this era, they so programmed to be like defense, defense, defense. When you watch fighters go for it, they criticize him. Oh, he don't have no defense. Of course, when you go for it, you're willing to take some to get some. But in this generation, a lot of time, a guy can hit you with one good shot, maybe two good shots. You see it happen from a new way time to time, but I can take that motherfucker. And when I get back up, I'm going to be meaner. Don't make them believe that Trinidad went on that canvas. Pernell went on that canvas. They took chances. Some motherfuckers like Trinidad, you knock him down a couple times, that motherfucker wake up and kick your ass. Last thing you want to do is knock down Trinidad. He's going to wake up and put belt to ass. And New Way the same way, get up even meaner. People say, yeah, man, he be getting dropped and he take chances, nigga. Like, how many times you want to see a motherfucker throw a jab right hand and go back on defense, jab and get back on defense? If you believe in your chin, you believe, especially moving up in weight and taking shots from bigger guys. People don't never throw that. He's still fearless. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I like him. Bam Rodriguez. He get in a blender with a motherfucker. Defense tight, head movement, everything tight. When he get on the inside, moving his head, get pop, pop, pop. He's exciting. He's like Tank Davis, but he throw punches. He throw a lot of them. And he's smaller. I mean, that's true. He's smaller. When you just can, go up. You look at a guy like O'Shaquie Foster. He was fighting the motherfucking Casiaco. No killer instinct. He got robbed. No killer instinct. I like O'Shaquie Foster. You come from the hood. You was in prison. Not saying that should have any. You should go for the kill. These motherfuckers so comfortable with going OT, doing OT. You don't get time and a half, nigga. Get these niggas the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? You just keep going up the ladder. Man, who else you got? Oh man, who else you got up in there? I'm trying to think of some guys. Man, ain't nobody really at 60 for real. Benavidez a guy go for the kill. He keep exciting boxing a lot, but they just too few far in between, bro. You just too few far in between. Without him, y'all see the Iglesias from the 68-pound guy who fight for the IBF. I think it's that Oslee Iglesias. Y'all gonna love him. I mean, it's only so many him and guys like Iglesias, Jaime Munguia, Christian Mbili. I believe that's the most exciting division. As far as excitement fighters, bro, like they got three of the most exciting fighters I've seen, from Oslee Iglesias, Christian Mbili, and Jaime Munguia. I don't think you find a division with three top guys who if they fought each other, it'd be a barn burner. I keep saying that. It'd be a barn burner. I'm thinking if you put them three in the blender, you gonna have fun. You can't get a bad matchup with them three. I promise you that. You can't get a bad matchup with them three. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. But ultimately, that's just what's going on in boxing. Man. It's just, everybody programmed to, hit and don't get hit. But sometimes hitting the motherfucker is the best way not to get hit. And that may not make no sense to somebody. But especially in this generation, hitting the motherfucker is the best way not to get hit. A lot of these guys, they don't know how to counter punch. They don't know how to punch with you. Black Jericho, salute. One honor, salute. Shakur said size don't matter, it's skill. Nah, he want weight class of rehydration. I mean, my thing is this: nobody asked that brother to go up and fight Conor Ben. When you said you go up to fight Conor Ben, we like, okay, we want to see you in the blender at 47. Then you want to go up there. You was going back down and shit. You go back down, we want to see you with a Dula Mason and whoever else. Johnson, salute. We still looking for Al. With everything going on in the Middle East right now, Saudi money might come to a quick halt. Good. Yeah, a lot of that shit they going. I mean, definitely fights gonna stop going there and going on there. That's crazy. I mean, they've been fighting for this shit for years. You know what I'm saying? This our land, this your land, and it'll be funny. These motherfuckers be wrong, but we want people to feel bad and feel like they so right. Speaking about Trainer Bonesy out here looking real. So I heard that Tamir Smalls guy law. I heard y'all split decision. Rolly does not have a chance. Norman is better than Rolly. Styles make fights. He said they were cooning. He said I thought Devin still had one more $12 million. Who knows? Them fights probably subjective to what Turkey wanted to keep it real. They were all at Navarrete Nunez fight, but nowhere to be found. The previous week Carissa fight. Well, Crawford went out there. It's just their promoter just be acting like a bitch. I don't blame him on that one. But yeah, I don't go to them fights, bro. I used to go to the little small fights and shit, but I'm not even gonna air my grievances out. I didn't know the fight was happening until it was over. Didn't care. Ryan trying to call shots. I mean, hey, y'all, they empower Hector to feel like Hector can call shots. That's what they make him feel like. They make him feel special. He said even at the end, they don't want to work together. He said, in fact, boxing promoters and fighters are dumb. Nothing going on in America. If I was a fighter, I'd try to get 2 big fights from now until the football season starts. Facts. He said, Boots done duck too much smoke. He said, smash the like button. He said, Rolly gonna get out work. He said, that's true. I bet Shakur get the stoppage. 2 each of my versus Ryan. Lost my money. Easy salute. Hit the like button. He said this generation doesn't have the mindset for fight. They don't have the mindset for competition. Keep telling people that. I had somebody in my comments say, so I don't think it's because of single mothers. It definitely is, nigga. When you raised by women or women dominated houses, you don't want to work. Women don't want to work, bro. Remember, I did a short on the Free Game 89 channel when a woman say she don't like participation trophy or attendance awards. That children should have mental health days. As a man, ain't no mental health days. If you don't go to work, you ain't got no PTO. Ain't no motherfucking, ain't no, who gonna pay your bills? Women can afford to think like that. Men can't. You raising boys like that. That's why you see some of these dudes don't want to hoop. They don't want to play sports no more. Well, I'm injured, they don't want to go to work no more. When you grow up and see your pops going to work, even when he's sick, coughing, his back hurting, you learning that's what you're supposed to do as a man. And most dudes, they raised by their mother, they feel like they got a little itchy throat. They don't want to work. You see that across the ethnic groups. I did a video on the Brad. He was arguing with his wife. I don't want to go to work. You was on here for like, come on, man. We got to embrace the pain. Most guys don't feel like a man if you ain't working towards nothing. Bud with an open Pacquiao up and capitalized. He would have. Pernell was a dog. Ronnie Shields is up and down trainer. So is Ronnie Shields is a good trainer. I would say defense win fights. I wouldn't say that. It's a lot of motherfuckers kicking ass who ain't really, had no defense. For real. I think lack of killing Pavic was an underrated finisher. Yeah, he should have stopped. He should have stopped Fulton. Said, I'm glad you gave Bam his flowers. A lot of YouTubers downplaying him, acting like he's not great. Yeah, I watch him when he fight. Motherfucker, you know how to get. You remind me of Chocolito. Better defense though. He said you gotta out of shape small fighters. I mean, boxing regardless is an attrition sport. He said you didn't stop him. He said Osaki first is a great pure box. He rarely comes out of first and second gear, and maybe that's because he paced himself. He said, where the hell is Andre? Andre out here begging like, man, niggas retired in my book. He said it's Mabili juicing. I don't know. That motherfucker was going though. Make Rolly fight the mandatory. Osaki loses to Navarrete. I don't know about that because Navarrete, that motherfucker, he can't handle no boxers at all. He might get picked apart in that fight. If he overwhelmed him, they probably can steal it from Shock, but Shock hurt him with a right hand, but he was limping off. Oh yeah, Navarrete just so awkward, bro. Shock could probably just pick him apart if they don't rob him. He said it's time for Rolly to get rolled out. Shit, Boo should have fought as mandatory to begin with to keep it a being. That's what I'm saying. Y'all was on the same promotional company. You stepped aside. Eddie Hearn probably didn't pay him shit. That's what I'm saying. Eddie Hearn didn't probably pay him shit. You stepped aside, and now, you know, he didn't want to handle his responsibilities. He didn't want to handle his responsibilities as a promoter, and then we left with this motherfucker. Like, nah, man, you should have handled your responsibilities and made Boots and Shaq rhyme. Yeah, it was on the same promotional company. That's my issue with it. Like, dog, you missed your shot. And it's a fight that don't nobody want to see. So, all right, this is something that I seen. So I'm gonna I haven't listened to it, but we're gonna let it rock out. I listened to a bit of it, but not all of it.
So those who know me know I line myself up around anybody around the world. And I've just felt like it ain't nobody more solid than me. I had the opportunity to see homie do an interview talking about this, talking about that, talking about he'll fight Harrison again, what I did to Harrison, what I did to Earl. Nobody can mess with me, blah, 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 blah. So the main thing is, I'm so solid. Everything that I hear don't go on the internet. Everything that I talk about don't go on the internet. Every conversation I have with somebody else don't go on the internet. But for me to address it now, it would have never, like, nobody would have never even knew. So, about a year and some change ago, I'm in Ramadan right now, so I'm trying to correct my language in Ramadan. Me and the BITCH, the little BITCH, had a conversation on the phone. Nobody never knew because it wasn't supposed to be said. Like, it wasn't glorified. It was a conversation I needed to have with him, man to man, man to BITCH. Let me say, man to HOE. And the conversation was, I'm just gonna vaguely throw out what we was kind of talking about. It was about fighting. It was about us having a good fight, a good showing, and credit where credit was due. You know what I mean? We had stuff that was epic. Fast forward to the conversation, it's like, cool. You know, he dancing around the whole thing, but me, I'm like, look, it's all cool, fine and dandy. I don't like you. You don't like me. Why are we leaving this thing tied up? And I'm like, it ain't about no belt. Keep your belt. We can meet at 156, 157. No belt is involved. I'm like, let's just do it again. Like, for me, I'm a guy that always want to capitalize on where I thought I went wrong at. And just as a man in life. And his response was, "No, I won't fight. I don't want to fight you again. You're a good fighter. I don't want to fight you again. I got bigger fish that bigger things I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? We can make some money together. We could do a podcast or something." And I'm like, all right, cool. I don't want to do the podcast. I just wanted to fight. At this point, I'm kind of revisiting the podcast thing, if we can label the podcast Man versus BITCH, because I swear to God I would do the podcast. That was his thing. I left it at that. Just man to man, we had a real conversation. Two people who genuinely don't have strong feelings for each other. Man to man could talk on the phone mutually through a guy that we both know, both are connected with, both are cool with, which is my guy Monte. Mind you, if I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. But apparently most of America gonna think I'm lying because he got cars and money, and I'm tired of presenting solid, real conversations with people that don't want to listen because of what people got. Make them perceive that they telling the truth, right? But that's neither here nor there. I'm talking about the ones who will listen. It's wild. It's wild that clickbait can change the whole narrative of the conversation we had already had a year and some change ago. Like, mind you, they called me on three-way while I was running. I was working, I was running. And I ran the whole 5 miles with them on the phone, talking to them. Because I really wanted to get the answer to my question. Like, let's do it again. So for me to go and watch a conversation, which my name wasn't even brought up. He brought my name up. Like, my name wasn't even brought up. I'm like, that's wild. It's wild. It's wild that I can have a conversation with somebody, the clickbait start happening, and I promise you, I can tell you this. It's gotta do with money. Homie running out of money. Like, and that's just speculation. But I heard this shift in conversation that I know is kind of probably about money. He went on talking about he'll fight Terrence Crawford. Prior to the clickbait, it was, no, Terrence Crawford, well, why is Terrence Crawford even talking about me? That's not my weight class. Go fight Earl. Now he'll go fight Boots. Now he'll fight Virgil. And it's wild. Like, all somebody got to do is put a camera in front of your face and you start shaking that ASS. Like, you were, like, homie can be bought, homie. Homie can be bought. And it's wild because for years, I couldn't even make 154 no more. Chasing him, I took everything structurally out of my body to chase him. I mean, I went over to Australia, struggled to make the weight. I mean, killing myself because I couldn't make the weight no more, just to fight guys to get to him. We had a conversation. I ended it. I moved up. It's over for me. The reason why I stayed there said that we're not fighting no more. So cool. And once again, it wasn't a conversation for me. I didn't post it. I didn't record the conversation. I didn't. Yeah, Charlo came on there and said he won't fight me again, and I'm too hard of a fight. I didn't do that. Because that was a conversation that me and him had. It didn't have to go nowhere. Man to man. All I wanted was the answer. But this is how I know Earl was tapping that ASS when it was sparring. He was tapping it. Cause then I ain't never lost to this. And when you solid, you understand what solid look like. Earl's demeanor is so cool and collected when he answers questions. You can tell he has no reason to lie. Plus, he just don't walk that kind of lifestyle where he feel like he gotta be somebody to people to portray an image of who he really is. Homie is a real, and I wish I wasn't in Ramadan because I would be cussing my ASS off. Homie is a real BITC, capital BITCH. He afraid of his shadow that'll fight back. He's afraid of tarnishing his own legacy to his own self because he think, I don't know what he think, to be honest, but I really want to have an interview with somebody after Ramadan so I can really express myself. And really, I really want to have a honest conversation. I want somebody to set up the conversation with me and him, whether on the phone, whether in person. I don't care where it is. I would love for somebody to set us up a conversation for me to speak my mind, him to speak his mind. I want a podcast or interview or something. Let the viewers chime in. But I'm telling you, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I'm lying, I'm flying. Yo, so those who know me know.
All right, so that was longer than I thought it was gonna be. So apparently he just said that, Earl was beating his ass on sparring and that he broke. He think he needs some money, and it seemed like Tony Harrison trying to get a fight. Called out Earl. Earl allegedly could be fighting Tim Tszyu. And now he's calling out Jermell Charlo. So, over kind of former PBC with Demetrius Sautier, Jermell Charlo. I mean, obviously it's sold. They talked a lot. They talked a lot of shit. It's sold. It seemed like a lot of fighters on that side of the street kind of getting desperate for a fight. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes getting desperate, and for the most part, Jermell Charlo trying to get some money. And that's what it is. He thirsty for Virgil, thirsty for Jerron Boots, and he thirsty for whoever got some bread. And that's what it is. And Tony is basically, pressing the action because nobody stepped up and made his demand. And it's funny how the tables turn. He right about Crawford. He was talking all that shit about Tony Crawford. About Terrence Crawford, excuse me. And I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. Like, it's funny how everybody was getting money over there. Yeah, you see what happened with Floyd, and now everybody, you think Earl coming back is a coincidence? No, he ain't. Like, after 3 years, I told y'all, can't nobody in this country, afford to miss a payday. Can't nobody afford to miss a payday, bro. And while they window's still open, people's trying to strike. I ain't mad at it. Closed mouth don't get fed. He's trying to antagonize Charlo into a fight. It was 2 really good fights. He looked bad in Australia. He looked bad in a couple other fights. Said he was, missed the weight, whatever. The weight was the cut. He's a tall guy, about as tall as me almost. I don't know how he was making that weight. And ultimately people understand, like, the time is ticking. There's opportunities, and I think they did a great job talking shit with each other. I'm pretty sure, Turkey would be interested in a trilogy. Jermell Charlo talking to the wrong people. You asking Eddie, you need to be plugging in with Turkey and Dana White. And you're like, oh, Charlie, he made about 10 versus Canelo. He made that money be gone, dog. It wouldn't surprise me if he ever got that money. If Al didn't run off with his money, it wouldn't. I'm not saying he did. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't get his money from Al. It wouldn't surprise me one bit, y'all. All of a sudden, you hear this man vanish or they ain't been seen. You know, them checks probably stopped coming. Them checks probably stopped coming. All these niggas, when you say you and her, all these niggas trying to come back. All these dudes trying to come back. Told y'all, man, they wasn't getting enough money to retire, bro. These niggas got wives and kids. That's money. They got beautiful houses. That's maintenance, cutting the grass, the pools in the back. The dog need food. It costs a lot of water. The water bill high as hell. Electricity high as hell in those houses. Houses probably not paid off. These niggas most of them niggas is broke, bro. And they spend it, and he was paying it to them in increments. You know, when they was getting it, they was spending it, bro. When they was getting it, they was spending it. You know, this is why they tell a lot of men, like, you know, wait till you get your bread up to get a wife and a family. They spend money. Women don't have a sense of money. They don't give a fuck about money. They think it's something that you can get. You know, that's why it's hard for them to save money. Women don't grasp the concept of shit costs money. This is why they light bills and heat bills be $1,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand that. They don't understand that. This is why I regulate the heat to this. This is why I say don't see with the TV. They don't have a concept of that, bro. They think you run the car into the ground. They think, you know, you magically fix this. It's hard to find a woman who has a sense of money and how important money is and how quick money can go. It's hard. So think about they doing nice stuff for themselves, nice stuff for, you know, the girl want this, that, and the third. The house costs a lot of money. It's maintenance to keep the grass cut. It's maintenance to keep the pools going. That shit costs money, bro. So really, Charlo can't pick and choose. You just feel like, well, I can get to the top of the line and fight Fondora and fight, you know, Virgil and Jerron. And nah, nigga. You know, at the end of the day, if you want to start over and go to 160, it's a bunch of opportunity at 160. That's a fact. If you go to 60, hey, you know, you go to 160 and get a couple belts. But he ain't looking, like I agree with Tony Harrison, he ain't looking to reestablish his boxing legacy. He just looking to get a payday. And you talking about, well, people don't like me. Even he did an interview with Najee, or people don't, it's not that people don't like you. That's true. But you had no value in the sport, bro. You never established a value. And when people don't like you, either they gotta they gotta hate to watch you fight or love to watch you fight. And I just think that never happened for them. They didn't love to watch him fight, and they never hated to watch him fight, or they didn't hate enough to watch him fight. So ultimately, he want to pick and choose, and he feel like, well, I was undisputed champion. I never lost my belts at the weight. I should get a scenic route, automatic at the top of the mountain, and it don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You never was beloved, or you never was hated to the point where people wanted to see you lose or people wanted to see you win. So to me, I think this would be a good starting point for him, but nobody wants to start over. He feels like I'm entitled to a top spot. I'm entitled to a top fight. And that's why he's not entitled to one. Unfortunately, he never was loved enough, and he never was hated enough, and he never was people wanted to watch him fight enough. He wasn't great enough to skip the line. He wasn't hated enough to skip the line. That's just what it is. And now you got a guy that's willing to fight you. I'm pretty sure somebody be willing to put some money up for this fight to be on their card, or in general. You got him calling you all these names, you know, and for the most part, you know, Charlo wants to go lose to somebody for some money. You know, you beat Tony Harrison. Okay, cool. You beat him again. What does it tell you? Okay, now, he can be a good contender. At least it's a starting point. 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 So we'll see. So, but other than that, man, y'all got any questions? I answer them. My boy Jalen Duren, Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Shout out to the Pistons. So, but yeah, let me get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.